Have you ever encountered a person and experienced the sensation of having known them forever? That unexplainable bond that transcends mere physical allure, mutual hobbies, and all logical reasoning? Imagine if I revealed that Edgar Cayce, the most extensively documented psychic in America, conducted more than 14,000 readings demonstrating that such feelings are more than mere fantasy. They may actually be traces of spiritual memories from past lives you've experienced together. In the upcoming 20 minutes, I will share 3 astonishing insights derived from Cayce's documented readings that will transform your perspective on relationships entirely. To begin with, there are distinct indicators that Cayce pointed out, demonstrating that you have previously cohabited with someone. Next, there's the astonishing account from reading 2601, where Cayce recounted a couple's connection across 7 lifetimes, including their experience as siblings in ancient Egypt. Lastly, the most provocative disclosure of all: how Cayce explained that it's possible to tap into these memories independently using methods he presented right here in Virginia Beach. But what will truly astonish you is this. Once you recognize these signs, you may find that you are in the company of souls you've encountered over centuries, or possibly even thousands of years. The key question is, are you prepared to recall those memories? Consider the individual who is nearest to you at this moment. It could be your partner, your closest friend, or even a colleague you either adore or dislike intensely. Based on Cayce's insights, there is a 90% likelihood that you have experienced at least one life together in the past, and the depth of your current bond, whether it's profound affection or ongoing strife, is intrinsically linked to your prior interactions. Edgar Cayce didn't merely speculate on this topic. Starting from his modest roots in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, and moving to his renowned endeavors in Virginia Beach, Virginia, he provided precise, documented readings regarding connections from past lives that were so detailed they astonished even the most hardened skeptics. The Association for Research and Enlightenment still retains these original stenographic records today, and their contents regarding human relationships will challenge your understanding of attraction and fate. However, before we explore those particular indicators, it's essential to grasp something that even took Cayce's own stenographer, Gladys Davis, by surprise. In reading 254.68, Cayce disclosed that what we refer to as love at first sight isn't actually first sight at all. It's about recognition. Your spirit identifying another spirit with which it has shared love, faced battles, collaborated, or even sacrificed itself for in a past life. This is where things become truly intriguing. Cayce elaborated that soulmates aren't solely romantic partners. They are souls that have decided to reincarnate together, time and again, to navigate particular lessons, mend past traumas, or achieve spiritual goals that extend across several lifetimes. At times, your soulmate may be your spouse. At times, it's your challenging mother-in-law. Other times, it's that individual who really gets under your skin, yet you can't escape their presence. The initial indication that Cayce recognized is something he referred to as immediate intimacy. You encounter someone and in just a few minutes, you find yourself divulging private information you typically keep to yourself. There's an unusual sense of comfort that doesn't quite add up. In a documented instance from the ARE archives, a woman recounted to Cayce an encounter with a man at a train station in Chicago. Remarkably, within just an hour of their introduction, she confided in him about a childhood trauma, something she had never disclosed, not even to her closest friends. During her reading, Cayce unveiled that in their most recent past life, this man had been her brother, who had sacrificed himself to protect her during the Civil War. Although her conscious mind was unaware, her soul recognized his reliability, explaining why she felt such an unexplainable sense of security around a stranger. This concept involves spiritual memory and action, occurring more frequently than one might assume. The second indicator is what Cayce referred to as complementary dysfunction. While this may seem unusual, it's essential to focus, as it alters our perception of challenging relationships entirely. Occasionally, you encounter someone who seems to instinctively press each other's buttons in distinct manners. It appears as though you both are aware of how to activate each other's most profound insecurities effortlessly. Many individuals believe this implies a lack of compatibility. However, Cayce disclosed that the reality is quite the opposite. While interpreting 1436-1, he clarified to a couple who frequently quarreled that they were, in fact, ancient soulmates navigating a karmic pattern that started over 12,000 years ago in Atlantis. During that era, the husband held a position of authority and misused his power, leading to significant distress for the woman, who was then his pupil. In this lifetime, they chose to reincarnate together so he could learn the responsible use of power, while she could grasp the importance of establishing healthy boundaries. The disagreements they faced weren't merely coincidental clashes. They were intentionally crafted spiritual teachings unfolding within their relationship. Upon recognizing this pattern, they succeeded in mending the deep-seated hurts and evolving their marriage into an incredibly supportive alliance, unlike any they had known before. However, what Cayce disclosed during the session astonished even his stenographer. This transformative healing process extended its benefits beyond just the couple. It ultimately healed the entire soul group to which they were connected, influencing numerous others who had observed or been affected by the initial trauma in Atlantis. This illustrates the significance of your personal relationships on a cosmic scale. Each injury you mend with a soulmate sends waves through dimensions beyond your comprehension. The third indicator is prophetic dreams or visions regarding one another. Cayce recorded hundreds of instances where soulmates would dream of each other prior to their meeting, or suddenly have visions of shared experiences that seemed more vivid than memories from their present lives. In a particularly striking instance documented in the ARE files, a woman from California reached out to Cayce to share a recurring dream that had haunted her since her youth. In this dream, she would find herself in a bustling marketplace resembling ancient Rome, observing a man being taken away in chains. Although she could never make out his face distinctly, she consistently awakened with a profound feeling of sorrow and an unshakable conviction that she had loved him deeply. 2 decades later, during a conference in Los Angeles, she encountered a man, and as soon as their eyes met, she drew in a sharp breath. It was the very face that had appeared in her dreams. When she shared her dreams with him, he confessed that he too had been experiencing similar images of a woman calling out to him while soldiers pulled him away from a marketplace. Although he could never make out her face, he always awakened with a profound sense of loss, convinced that parting with her was the most devastating event of his life. In Cayce's reading for the couple, recorded in Reading 39.541, it was revealed that they had indeed been lovers in ancient Rome. He had been a Christian who faced arrest and execution during the reign of Emperor Nero. She was not allowed to see him, as her family feared that being connected to Christians would put them all in danger. Both had passed away while enduring the heartache of being torn apart by forces beyond their reach. In this lifetime, they were offered a chance to embrace the love that was abruptly halted 2 millennia ago. But here comes the chilling revelation. Cayce disclosed that they had been dreaming of one another throughout numerous lifetimes. not merely from their childhood in this existence. For centuries, their souls had been striving to connect through the veil that separates realms. This leads us to an even more astonishing concept. Cayce emphasized that you shouldn't rely on random coincidences to find your soulmates. He created particular methods for tapping into memories of past lives, and even for engaging with souls prior to their shared incarnations. However, there's an additional aspect about these prophetic dreams that you should be aware of. According to Cayce, these dreams aren't merely random recollections surfacing from the subconscious. They represent your higher self gearing up for a reunion with significant souls. Dreams act like a spiritual navigation system, guiding you to identify certain people when you meet them in your present life. This is where Cayce's insights become particularly useful for contemporary Americans. He not only pinpointed these indicators, but also provided detailed guidance on how to proceed upon recognizing a soulmate bond. The initial action he referred to as soul acknowledgement. Upon meeting someone who evokes a sense of inexplicable familiarity, Cayce advised that you should quietly recognize the connection, even if it remains unclear to you at that moment. This isn't about rushing to proclaim everlasting love or assuming that marriage is your destiny. Soul recognition simply means understanding that there's a deeper connection in the relationship beyond mere physical attraction or compatibility. It's akin to expressing to the universe, "I acknowledge the significance of this, and I'm ready to focus on it." The next step, which Cayce referred to as karmic patience, involves navigating a challenging soulmate relationship, keeping in mind that soulmates aren't always easy companions. He emphasized the importance of distinguishing between karmic lessons and true incompatibility. Karmic lessons can be frustrating yet meaningful. Typically, there is one particular pattern or dynamic that recurs, and it seems that if you could only find a different way to manage this specific issue, everything would transform. In contrast, true incompatibility feels lifeless and devoid of substance. It lacks any emotional charge or sense of unresolved matters. In this lifetime, it's simply true that you aren't meant for each other, and that's perfectly all right. Not all soul connections are intended to be explored in every incarnation. However, here's an intriguing insight regarding karmic patience. In his reading of 57171, Cayce disclosed that often the most significant soulmate work occurs not by remaining together, but by discovering how to part with love and forgiveness. He recounted a story about a couple who had been adversaries in 3 consecutive lifetimes, perpetually harming each other through acts of betrayal and vengeance. In their current existence, they were tasked with learning to embrace their fundamental disagreements while still respecting each other's spiritual journeys. Ultimately, they decided to divorce, yet they approached it with a level of awareness and kindness that allowed them to break the long-standing cycle of mutual harm. Their children witnessed 2 individuals who could nurture each other's spirits while recognizing that they were not meant to live as partners. This experience served as a model for mindful separation, impacting all who observed it. The third lesson that Cayce imparted was the importance of spiritual inquiry. After recognizing a soul connection and committing to a patient journey through karmic lessons, he urged individuals to proactively delve into the past life origins of their relationships. This pursuit was driven not merely by curiosity, but by the quest for healing. Cayce crafted various techniques to tap into these memories, and here's the astounding aspect. Contemporary studies have corroborated numerous methods he employed. The approach he frequently utilized was termed meditative regression, a process that entails achieving a profoundly relaxed state and inviting the subconscious to disclose details about one's relationship with a particular individual. He would instruct individuals to recline comfortably, akin to how he conducted his own sessions, and then guide them through a process of relaxation and spiritual awakening. He would then guide them to visualize the other person's image and pose the question, "What do I need to understand about our connection?" The outcomes recorded in numerous cases at the ARE were often astonishingly precise and confirmable. However, there is something even more profound that Cayce uncovered regarding these methods. In reading 281.25, he disclosed that when two soulmates engage in this process together, committing to comprehend their karmic bond, they can actually expedite their spiritual growth by lifetimes. Rather than taking multiple incarnations to gradually navigate the same patterns, they have the ability to address centuries of karma within just one lifetime of deliberate effort. This explains why Cayce thought that the acknowledgement of soulmate relationships was increasingly prevalent in contemporary society. Humanity is entering an era of rapid spiritual evolution, with souls incarnating and possessing greater access to their past life recollections, which accelerates the global awakening process. This aspect becomes particularly intriguing for Americans. Cayce foresaw that the United States would emerge as a hub for this spiritual awakening, a phenomenon he termed the melting pot effect. When souls from diverse cultures and ancient civilizations come together in a single nation, it opens up extraordinary possibilities for large-scale karmic healing. Consider this. In America, a person could have once been an Egyptian royal while their partner may have experienced life as a Roman slave. Their offspring could embody the genetic memories of both the oppressor and the oppressed, opening a path for healing deep-seated issues regarding power and social justice that have lingered for centuries. This intensity and complexity in American relationships often eclipses those in more uniform cultures. It's not simply a matter of personal compatibility. We are, on a subconscious level, navigating through millennia of shared human karma. However, the most astonishing insight from Cayce's soulmate readings is still to come. In his reading 5749-14, he discussed how the understanding of soul connections is actually setting the stage for a significant transformation in the nature of relationships. He foresaw that as more individuals become aware of their past life ties, the concepts of marriage and family would adapt to incorporate various forms of soul bonds. He envisioned a future in which a person might have one partner for romantic and sexual intimacy, another for spiritual development and meditation, and additional partners for creative collaboration and purposeful endeavors. These arrangements wouldn't be superficial. They would be deliberate soul contracts, recognized and respected by all parties involved. While this may seem extreme, it's worth reflecting on how much relational structures have already evolved since Cayce's era. In the 1930s, divorce was considered a taboo when he conducted many of these readings. In contrast, today's society embraces blended families, intentional uncoupling, and various types of chosen family arrangements. We are gradually progressing toward the more adaptable, soul-centered connections he foretold. A crucial takeaway from Cayce's teachings is that souls often incarnate in groups rather than merely in pairs. While your partner may serve as your main romantic soulmate, your closest friend could be a spiritual counterpart you've shared multiple lifetimes with, and your business associate might be someone you've worked alongside since ancient Greece. Grasping this concept can significantly alleviate the stress in personal relationships and allow you to value the intricate web of soul connections that envelop you. However, Cayce explained that the primary goal of acknowledging these connections goes beyond enhancing your personal relationships. It involves reconnecting with your true self. Each soulmate you identify represents the reclamation of a fragment of your own soul that has been dispersed throughout time and space. in one of his most insightful analyses on the subject, reading 262-89, Cayce disclosed that the Earth serves as a school for souls, wherein our interactions with one another constitute the educational framework. Each encounter, every struggle, and every moment filled with love or forgiveness signifies the universe learning about itself through our experiences. When you glance at your demanding mother-in-law and realize she could have been a soul who dedicated her life for you in Atlantis. When you acknowledge that your rebellious teenager may have once been a cherished teacher of yours in ancient Egypt. And when you comprehend that even your adversaries are courageous souls willing to take on the role of the villain in your narrative to help you grasp the essence of forgiveness, everything shifts. This understanding is why Cayce suggested that the most profound spiritual practice is not merely meditation or prayer, even though those practices hold significance. The most profound spiritual endeavor involves embracing the souls around you with a complete awareness of their true selves and the experiences you've shared. As we conclude, here's your task. For the upcoming week, I encourage you to engage in what Cayce referred to as soul-seeing with everyone you meet. When someone provokes a reaction in you, take a moment to pause and internally inquire, what lesson are you here to impart, and what healing are we achieving together? Conversely, when someone brings you joy, rather than simply accepting it, take a moment to reflect inwardly. Acknowledge, I recognize you and cherish our bond, even if I have yet to fully comprehend it. Take note of your dreams, particularly those involving individuals in your life. Observe when discussions with someone you hardly know delve deeper than expected. Be aware of those instances when time feels suspended, and it seems like you're gazing at someone with the perspective of eternity. Additionally, keep in mind that, as indicated in Cayce's readings, every person reading this has chosen to be here during this particular moment in history, because there is important work for your soul to accomplish. The soulmates destined for you are already beginning to make their way into your life. Your task isn't to chase after them with desperation. Instead, focus on becoming deeply authentic and fully in tune with your highest self, making recognition a natural outcome. The love you desire is also in pursuit of you, and this has been the case for many lifetimes. Have faith in the journey, be receptive to the signs, and remember that every connection is a chance to heal not just your individual soul, but also the collective spirit of humanity. The universe is working in harmony to bring you back together with all those you've ever loved. And Edgar Cayce's insights demonstrate that this love-driven connection unfolds on a level far more extraordinary than we've ever imagined.